Episode 4070, What You Tolerate Thrives.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. I hope this episode finds you happy and ready for an incredible long weekend. Yes, it's Memorial Weekend, so I pray you've got great plans with your family, with your friends, and you can enjoy some company. But first, we got to get to those kiddos. Oh, yep, it's Confession Day. What you tolerate thrives. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already even had the opportunity, you want to head on over to createyournow.com where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter, the Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, inspiring connection and community. All right, so we're going to talk about parenting today. Imagine that. Yes, it's Confession Day. And I think this one is one that honestly we probably need to talk about every single week because it's easy for us to escape. We already know parenthood is crazy. It's chaotic. It's relentless, right? We don't get to quit. Between the work, the errands, the to-do lists, whatever else, everything that we say yes to and we forget that we can say no, it often feels easier to let certain behavior slide. You're tired. You're overwhelmed. You tell yourself, I'll just deal with this later. Or it's not worth the fight right now. I'm exhausted. But here's the truth no one speaks about. And for whatever reason, I'm not really sure. It's like, shh, we want to keep a secret. It's not a secret. What you tolerate thrives. If you let a frustrating behavior go unchecked today with your kiddos, it won't disappear. It's going to grow. It's going to grow more than you even want it to. It's going to be like a weed. The flowers don't grow, but the weeds do. They can be 2-3 feet tall, and your flower's like, I can't survive, right? The behaviors of our kiddos, the back talking, that I don't want to do it. I'm too tired, whatever it is, right? They just don't do it. They just walk away and they leave it for you to take care of. That stuff grows like weeds. All of a sudden it's like, did she just say that to me? Did he just do that like 10 minutes ago? Like, are you serious? Giving in to convenience is setting both your child and yourself up for bigger challenges down the road. Doesn't matter the age. Now, I'm also here to give you a little bit of hope too. If you're like, Christiane, my kiddos are older, that's okay. You can start now. Oh, my kids are too young. You can start now. You need to start right where you are. Because as a parent, it's tempting to lean into the easy, to make up an excuse just like I just used. But real leadership that's required in parenting requires the hard work, the firm boundaries, the consistent follow through that shapes your child's future. So I got a question for you today. Are you ready to put on your thinking hat? How do you currently handle the situations where your child is acting out or not doing something they were asked to do? And honestly, most of us, I don't think, take half a minute to think about what we're doing. We just do it. And that's okay. So that's why I wanted to give you space here. How do you currently handle those situations? What does it look like? When your child has a meltdown in the middle of the store, what do you do? Now, I could also ask you the other part of the question. If you see a mom or a dad that has a child going through a meltdown, what do you do? Right? We've all been there, whether we want to admit it or not. And if you haven't, you'll get there if you have a child. Whether you're borrowing a child, babysitting a child, or have your own child, you will get there. It happens. It's just called, it comes with kid territory. And sometimes, honestly, it can come with big kids territory too. We have a lot of emotionally unstable people out there. And if we don't watch it as parents, we're adding to the problem. Now, I'm not here to make you feel guilty. I'm here to challenge us, including me. Okay? When you become a parent, the next stages of life as a grandparent, The next stages might be a great grandparent, or you might be an auntie or an uncle or whatever it is, right? It goes out. And so the responsibilities of who comes underneath your wings grow as you grow. And really it's as you get older, not just grow, because we stop growing at a certain age, but you know what I'm saying. So how do you handle those situations that you know they should not be acting that way? Because this is what happens. If we don't look at it, this is what becomes the bigger problem in how we raise our kiddos. Because we're just like going through the motions. We don't give any time to think about it. So let's assume your child has some behaviors you would like to change. What do you do? What do you do? You're like, Christiane, I don't know you're supposed to tell me these things. Okay, well, if you want to stop tolerating behaviors that don't serve you, that don't serve your family, you must intentionally address them now. That is your Kiss to Keep It Simple strategy. Intentionally think about how you discipline. Because a lot of times we're sitting here just kind of going through the motions, not doing anything that we aren't, it's like we just can't access it fast enough. So we react more than we respond. We've talked about this earlier. I need you to respond. You need to be intentional. That's where the word intention comes in, with thought. And I got some good news for you too. You're like, please bring it on. This confession day is getting bad. No, it's not. You don't have to overhaul your whole parenting style overnight. You can still do some of the same things that you've been doing. And understand this. What I give you here, this is not like black and white. Like, you have to take what you need from these episodes and apply them to your life, to your family. What works for you? This is what I've seen, what I've experienced, how I've helped coach and consult and mentor. So these are ideas, but that doesn't mean that they are in concrete, that this is the be all end all. It's not. There's a lot of other ways you can do things. But if you could just get a little P worth, P-E-A, a P worth of something in here, don't you think your time's worth it? Because you probably already figured out, I really don't think about how I discipline. Maybe you did with the first kid. Now you're on to the third kid. And you're like, shoot, I really messed up on the first two. Maybe I need to start cleaning up on the third one. And if you have a fourth one, and then you have a fifth one, and a sixth one, or however it works. And if you're like, Christiane, we don't have kids, but we got puppy dogs. Okay. Maybe that's how you're starting your family first. That's fine. No judgments here. You practice on the first puppy. The second one comes along, you're like, I really messed up on that one, but if I do it this way, it's magical. That's the whole thing, right? We can all gather wisdom and figure out how it works for us. And if it doesn't work, then that's okay. Throw it out. Do something else. But I do think we need to stop and think intentionally about how we discipline. Because a lot of times we're just bringing in from what we grew up with. And sometimes that can be good and sometimes that can be bad. I had a childhood. Everybody has a childhood. Not every childhood is perfect. I can say I brought things in from my childhood that I probably should have left out. But I also brought things in that I know were spot on and I wouldn't change it for the world. So you're going to get that. But if you're not really putting thought into it and meaning as into the ramifications as to what's happening with your actions, because that's the thing, right? We're so busy. We got so much on our plate. And now all of a sudden you're like, and I'm supposed to raise kids too? I'm exhausted. Wouldn't it be nice if I could hire a nanny to do all the work for me? But then the nanny would have to do what I'm doing now with me. And yeah, it gets all confusing. You're like, yeah, but that's not how I want it to be. Exactly. You still have to do work. So the good news is you don't have to overhaul everything. Okay, you don't. But you can instill some things within yourself that will help you help your kiddos. What does it look like in real life? Number one, identify and name the behavior you will not tolerate. That's so important. You just can't sit here and say, well, I just don't know what I'm doing. Okay, let's be specific. You got to acknowledge it. Clarity is everything. Pinpoint exactly what behavior is problematic. Maybe it's consistent and constant arguing at bedtime. Maybe it's refusing to do the chores you've asked them to do 20 times. Maybe it's disrespect during mealtime. What is it? Well, then you can say it out loud, but I really want you to acknowledge it first to yourself, okay? This is important. This is self-reflection here. I won't ignore yelling. Or maybe refusing to clean up toys is not okay. Now, once when you acknowledge it, then you can say it out loud to your child, and it can be part of your conversation with them. But you first need to internalize it, okay? That's important. Because otherwise, they're going to look at you like, what happened to mom today? She's acting a little strange. You know, kind of how the dog tilts their head. It will be your child tilting their head at you like, We don't need that. We don't need our kids to question what we're doing. They just need to know that we know what we know, and they need to do what we do because we know in the long run this will help them. They don't think so, but it will. And if they don't believe it, just wait till they have children, and you'll just sit back and say, the day would come, and I knew it. Because that's what my mom did. That's what her mom did, right? All the generations. You're like, yeah, how did I get here? It is what it is. But you got to identify and name the behavior. Now, if you're not sure, but there are some problems, use your resources. Go talk to grandma. Go talk to auntie. Say, you know what? Have you been watching what Bob Jr.'s been up to? Little Susie Q, what is she up to? Like, I don't know. Something just doesn't seem right. I try to do this and explain it and see what their opinion is. Go to a teacher that sees your child during the day. Ask them. Go to a Sunday school teacher, a youth group leader. I would not recommend going to their friends because honestly, they're inexperienced. Why would you talk to somebody who's inexperienced? No. Now, if you're gathering information as to the situation, that's a different conversation. And we'll leave that for another episode. But when it comes to naming the behavior, that's for you. That's for adults. Oh, are you tired yet? I know. It's hard stuff, isn't it? But see, when you name it, it gives you a non-negotiable to work from because you know it. It's concrete. And it's just not frustration. It's not just in the moment, or you just kind of grit your teeth. You know that growl. We've all been there, right? Yes. It wasn't a weird sound just because of my microphone. We know it's like, and it's underneath just a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit quieter, but I did a little bit louder so you could actually hear it. But we don't want to have that underneath our breath as a mama. So identify, name the behavior. Number 2, set clear, consistent boundaries. Once you know what you're tolerating, and then when you know what you're not going to tolerate, even more important, communicate your expectations calmly and clearly. And that may mean you need to slow down how you speak to them. You want to make sure every word is understood. Now, if you notice, you probably think I slowed this down for a moment. I can tell you right now, for a person who talks fast and has a lot of energy, this feels like I'm crawling right now. But when we talk to our children, they do not process things as fast as we do. Now, some people would tell me personally, Christiane, you talk so fast, it doesn't matter what the age is. We don't get it. I get it. I'm grateful that you can not only speed me up, but you can slow me down. But notice how I'm speeding up things, right? It's important though. Your kids need to know your expectations and they need to understand it. Age appropriate. Okay, because if they can't comprehend it, there's no way you can teach them. So let your child know the behavior limits and the consequences for crossing them. You know that. You don't want to cross mama. Not a good idea. But listen here. Here is your secret weapon. Consistency. Did you hear me? Consistency, consistency. Wavering only teaches children that boundaries are suggestions, not rules. You have got to lay down the law, and no matter what happens, that is the law. So be careful what you say. Be careful the boundaries that you put into place. Because if you do not, things will begin to happen that you don't want to happen. And they may backtalk you more. They may go on a different tangent that takes them to a totally different level that leads you down a path that you thought you'd never have to cross with them. So you've got to be intentional. You've got to understand. You've got to know where you're headed. And then set those clear, consistent boundaries. And in all that you do, be consistent. That is your secret weapon. And then finally, number 3, follow through every time. I'm going to say it again. Follow through every time. This is the hardest, most crucial step. You got to do it. You got to stop tolerating and start acting. That means you got to nip it in the bud. That's what my mama said. That's what my grandma said. My great grandma would say, you got to nip it in the bud. No time for that. And yes, it's the hardest but most crucial step that you will have to take. If this is the only thing you get from this, that little pea size of oh my goodness, this is great, this is the one you need to hold on to. Because you need to look at it, okay, I told him that if he didn't do this, he goes in timeout. Then he goes in timeout. I don't care if it's 10 o'clock at night. And he was supposed to be in bed at 9 o'clock. And you wish you were in bed at 9:30. But now it's 10 o'clock. I don't care. Implement the timeout. You don't have a choice. Because for whatever reason, he's still up. You got to take care of him. Right? Bob Jr.'s got to be taken care of. Maybe withholding a privilege. Susie Q wants to go to dance. And you said, nope, if you don't clean your room, you're not going to dance today. That room's not clean to the way you told her to clean it. She does not go to dance today. And you're thinking, but I paid good money and she really needs to go to dance and she gets in trouble if she doesn't go to dance. Then guess what? Maybe she'll remember next time to do what mama says. You have to follow through. You can't sit there and say, I don't feel like it right now. It's not convenient. I'm in the middle of a grocery store. I'm at church. I have been driving and there's been a situation and I have had to pull off, not on the side of the road, literally go and park my car to handle a situation. Sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you're going to be late. You got to do that. Now, some people would say, no, Christine, what do you do if you're on your way to like a doctor's appointment and it's kind of important that you're there? Okay, I get that. You need to handle the situation and recognize it as fast as you can. And fast, I mean, you're not talking fast. It's nip it in the bud fast, okay? And then you let them know we are not done here. After the doctor's appointment, we are going to continue the conversation. Now, if you already know what you're going to implement regarding discipline for them, then you can let them know that. Or you can withhold that information from them and tell them after the doctor's appointment and have the further discussion. Because you got to say something initially. If you don't, they think they've got away with it. And they're like, yeah, I got mama again. Woohoo. Now, they're not saying that, but they know it. It's crazy how that works with kids. And then we get older and we forget everything that we knew back then when we were kids. Why did we not take all of that amazing knowledge with us as children into our parenting life? Oh, we would be amazing parents. Because that's just how God created us. It's kind of one of those, why memories are different for kids and why memories are different for adults and how we see things and how we do things and our experiences and what then decorates our everyday, how we show up, how we see life, how we live life. Follow through every time. If you fail to follow through just once, the behavior and the child is going to be like, woohoo, I get a breakthrough. I don't have to do it, and I'm going to try it again. And then pretty soon they'll realize, oh, when mom's flustered or she's in this position, I could get away with stuff. Oh, yeah, they'll remember. You prove your boundaries by sticking to them. even when you're tired, even when you're busy, even when you're distracted. The only exception to this rule is if there's a blood or a flood, meaning life or death. That's the only exception. Otherwise, you better be willing to follow through. Whatever you say. So if you know that you have to leave in 10 minutes and you need something done and your child needs to be leaving with you, let's say, in that 10-minute period, you can't sit there and say, you got 10 minutes to finish this, put on the timer, and you're supposed to be walking out the door. Does that make sense? Because then there's no room for what? Discipline. There's no room for follow through as to what would happen. So you've got to make sure and really think, and that's what I mean, you've got to be intentionally thinking. Intention is being conscious, okay? Not just going through the motions, not letting our habits take over. Habits do not raise good children. That could be a book. Maybe I should write it. Seriously, habits don't. But I'm here to tell you right now, confession day completely, habits are what is raising our kids today. We get into a rut. We come home. We do the same thing with the dinner dishes and dogs. We got the same routines on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday, might change a little bit, but we have enough flexibility that there's still habits that are built in. And so no one's really thinking about things. We're just going through the motions. As my husband likes to say, we're just loading the trucks. Doesn't take much thinking just to load a truck. One box here, another box there. Got to pay attention. You got to be aware. You got to be observant. You've got to be in the moment. You got to be present. Because otherwise, let me tell you, those kiddos, they're going to walk all over us. And they do. But let me tell you, we give them permission to. That's our fault, not theirs. So think about it. All right. Are you swimming now in parenthood, chaos, messiness, busyness, going, this isn't leaving me any hope? Well, I told you there is hope, right? The good news is you don't have to overhaul everything. You don't. What you can do when you've got dinner cooking and the dishes piling up and the dog needs a walk and the clock is still ticking, we know life doesn't pause. So what does it look like to weave all of this stuff into these daily routines that we have? What does it look like? Well, for example, during dinner, don't let mealtime chaos slide. If your child refuses to help clear the table or throws a fit about eating veggies, remind them of your expectation, whatever that rule is, whatever you're expected of them. Everyone pitches in. Or maybe it's dinner ends sooner than they want because they didn't eat their veggies. So it's like, okay, then we're done. We're not going to play this game. We're not going to have dessert. It's done. Follow through immediately and calmly. Make it age appropriate. So important. Maybe when the dog is barking constantly or is ignored, if your child then reacts by yelling or withdrawing, set a boundary around respectful behavior towards pets and others in the home. Consistency here teaches empathy and respect, regardless of what's happening around. They've got to be observant too. Teach it to them. Maybe you're needing things and regarding chores, and it's like, okay, well, everybody's doing chores, but when we do our chores, we're making teamwork a non-negotiable. So say something like, I'm going to handle the dishes and you get to handle the trash. When the task falls on you because of your child's refusal to take out the trash, it's like, nope. Remind them, this is teamwork. I'm doing the dishes, you get the trash. And you want to do it before it escalates. You don't need to bring it to this all-out war part when it comes to living in the home. Now, are you going to have those moments? Of course you are. You're a human being. And humans make mistakes, and humans get mad, and humans are tired, and they're frustrated. And they get mad. And they say things when they're not supposed to. That's called life. But it should not happen every single second, or what feels like every single second. Mama, in the end, parenting is about choosing the harder but higher value path. If you tolerate behavior because of your low energy or limited time, you are an enabler. You're enabling that behavior to grow. And that just means you're setting up more work for you tomorrow. What you tolerate thrives. So stop letting tiredness dictate your boundaries. Put your foot down. Follow through. Reinforce what matters, even in the middle of the dinner, dishes, and dogs. Let me remind you of the best thing ever. You have what it takes to lead your family, Mom, even on those hard days. Choose what matters. It's a privilege for you to be the mama of those babies. Regardless of the ages, they're your babies, okay? I don't care if they're home from college, they're still your babies. If they come and live back home with you again and they're in their 30s or 40s, they're still your babies. So choose what matters. Because what you tolerate isn't just surviving, it's thriving. So make sure it's the right thing that thrives. Go in peace, be present, be incredible, be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a glorious, blessed weekend, and happy Memorial Day. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.